Okay, let's make some pixie dust. So this is the effect here. I'll play that real quick that we're going to be creating. It's this pixie dust trail, particles that fly in and fly out that are shimmering and so forth. So we're going to start from scratch. So let's go ahead and close this and come down here, the little bottom button here to create a new comp. There we go. And let's name this pixie dust build. Okay, 720 by 480. I'm going with this size just because it's just going to allow us to work faster. I mean, you could go any size you want, but this is a good size just for us to be able to get through this tutorial. Square pixel, 24 frames a second, 10 seconds long. That's all we're really going to need for this. So we'll create the comp. So now we have our new pixie dust build comp, and what we're going to do in here inside the comp is create a new, by right clicking, we'll bring up our menu to go ahead and create a new solid. Go over here, solid, because we need the solid to put our particle generator in. So let's go ahead and call it, what do we want to call it? Particle bill. There we go. Yeah, particle bill. And if we click this button here, make same size as comp, that's all we really want. Everything else should be fine after that. We're not so worried about the color because it won't affect what we're doing at all. So we hit OK. And then with the particle layer selected, we're going to go up here and grab the particular generator. It's right here at the top because it was the last thing I picked. Otherwise, it would be down here somewhere. Because it would be right here and here, right here where it says trap code particular particle. So anyway, now that we've selected that, we can go over here and start working on our particles. And I'll go ahead and run the timeline a little bit. And this is how it comes preset. So right out of the box, it's spitting out particles. So let's go to the emitter, which is actually creating those particles and how many it's creating. And we're going to change the amount of particles per second that are being emitted to about 700. We have 700 be a good number. To about 700. And it's quite a few more particles. And everything else is fine, I think, out of the box. Linear, ununiform, all this is fine. Make sure you're on point. The velocity is what we want to change. We don't want it to emit these particles in such a wide area. We want to kind of narrow that down. And that has to do with the velocity, how fast they're coming out. Let's put that down to like 22. See what that looks like. Now that's pretty good. Yeah. So now, even though they're still putting out the same amount of particles, it's a little bit tighter band. It's not going to go out as far. Also, let's change it up a little bit and have some variety in that so they're not all coming out at the exact same time and the exact same speed. We'll change that to about, I don't know, 65. If you notice, I'm sort of it's a real organic process here. You're going to be able to sort of adjust this the way you want once you get a little bit more familiar how this works. And as we move along, that will happen very quickly. We don't want to have anything far as these other two are concerned. We can just go without those. We'll just set those both to 0. That's fine for right now. Maybe we set the distribute to 1, maybe 0.1, just a tiny little bit. Give us some more variety here. And everything else is fine as far as the emitter is concerned. So let's go ahead and close the emitter setup and twirl down the particle setup. Now the particle is going to be the actual dot here, the little piece that we're going to work with, what we want it to look like and how long we want it to last and so forth. And it comes up as a sphere, which is fine, and we don't want it to be soft at all. So we're going to turn this up down to 0 so we got everything really sharp. We don't want any softness on the particle. And for us, the size, we can control that here. Make them big, very small. Let's set this to about, I don't know, 2.5 or so. That's looking pretty good. So you see a little bit more space in between them. And also, we should, on this, we'll also make this random, 100% random, because we want these to come out all different sizes and shapes and so forth. The idea with this is just to keep it very random looking and very organic looking. And In fact, up here for us a time, we have it set. Let's go back to where it says the time. We currently have it set for 3 seconds, but let's go ahead and make that even random so that it'll vary as to how long the particle lasts, about 41 seconds. So if we just play this little tiny bit what we have, you can kind of see that these are all coming out at different sizes and shapes and going out at different times, and that's basically what we want. But we're not getting the flickering that we want, and that has to do with opacity. So let's go down here to the opacity, and that's right here. And right now the opacity is set at 100%, so that it's on all the time. And instead of going to the randomness, we want to change the opacity over the life of the particle. And that's where this little twirl down comes in handy. And right now it's solid. They're all on 100% of the time for the entire 3 seconds that they're born. So we want to actually go in here and just change that up to where it's just completely randomized. So let's take a little, by right clicking and dragging in the red box, you can start cutting up this solid little box so that it's more jagged or sawtooth. And we want to sort of go up in little triangles so that we're going up and out as dissolving up and out very quickly, but it is dissolving. And we're just going to go all the way down, sort of chopping this all up into bits and pieces. And you'll see real quickly once we're done chopping this up. And once again, I'm just right clicking and dragging in here to get rid of any of the additional red we don't want. We don't want any of that. And there it is. So now you can see that we have some of these that are a little lighter, some are brighter, and this is going to start giving us that flickery effect. So let's play this a little bit. And you can already see it. See how it's more of a flickery effect? They're all randomly coming on and going off, so it's giving like a shimmer almost to it. And this is great. This is exactly what we want. This is all looking really, really good. So with that in mind, we also want to have it, when they come up, we notice on the trail that the particles actually, let's go back to it real quick, fall away. They sort of fall off into a distance. See that? They're falling off in the sky. They have weight basically, so they're falling down. So let's go back to ours here, and we're going to go to the physics, which creates that effect of weight. And it's right down here. And right now there's no gravity at all, and we really want these things to fall away as the particle, or as the trail goes by. So let's turn the gravity way up, maybe to about 100 and 200, 191. So now you can see they're falling, obviously. So I'll play this real quick. There they go. They're falling down now. There's no doubt here. So there's gravity. This is good. This is all cool here. Now, another thing we're probably going to have to deal with a little later on, maybe we should do it now. Add a little wind to this so that it'll actually sort of have some more flow. And if we add some wind to it, we go down here where it says air. We're going to restrict it just a hair, I think, to make it a little bit more narrow. Just a tiny bit, maybe 0.1 or 1. Yeah, see now it's just a little tiny bit narrower, not a whole lot, but that may be too much actually. Let's see 0.6. There, all right. And as far as these other things go, spin frequency, 1, that's good. This is good. On the y-axis, let's add a little more wind on the y to blow it out toward us a little bit. And let's say maybe 14. There it is. So you're not seeing it that much, but once it starts flying around, you'll see how the y is actually when it's blowing that particle toward us. So let's stop there, and we'll move on to the next step. Bye for now.